We might get started, okay? So, I've got an issue with the mic. If I stand and speak at this volume, is that okay in the back? You can hear me?
The mic was working.
Yeah, but then I'm behind the desk and I need to connect with the audience. This is kind of my style, and you'll get used to it. It's, thanks. So, welcome to Griffith University. That's me. I'm the head of school. My name's Michael Townsley, and it's my pleasure to formally welcome you to Griffith University on your first day. The purpose of today is to explain some of the issues and some of the terminology about university to equip you for a seamless transition and to get the most out of university life. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples present. Okay. I'm aware that there's a whole range of things about university which on first contact are going to seem confusing. We've got a whole range of terminology that you haven't encountered before, and so what we're going to try to do today is explain some of that so that university, to the degree that it can be, is more easily understood. The first thing, which is going to sound bizarre to describe, is the difference between Griffith University and the school. So you are all in the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice. I'm the head. We've got academics in the school, and you're students in the School of Criminology. You're also Griffith University students. The university does two things. The university admits students, so talking to QTAC, looking at ATAR scores, and decides who can come in or who should get an offer. That's admissions. You've all been admitted. The other thing the university does is graduate students. Looks at what courses you've done, does that satisfy a degree program, and graduate you. So at the start of your experience with Griffith, that's what the university does, and at the end, graduates. Everything in the middle is the job of the school. So we're responsible for teaching, we're responsible for maintaining the standards of our courses, assessments, etc., etc. So when someone from the university is talking to you, they're going to refer to you as a Griffith student. When someone from our school talks to you, we're going to consider you a CCJ student. That may seem like splitting hairs or semantic difference, but it's huge in our eyes. All we're responsible for is educating you and creating opportunities with industry for you to leverage. The university is largely policy bound, so they're interested in maintaining the standards for regulators. So, when people are talking to you from the school and saying that, to do X, Y, Z, you've got to fill in this form, or you've got to follow this procedure, those procedures are largely determined by the university. The school is really just the teaching arm, or what you're going to experience is the teaching aspect of your time at Griffith. CCJ, the school that you're in, is one of 26 schools at the university. So I said before what the university does, and all the teaching is done in the schools. There's 26 of them. The good news, guys, is that you're in the best school of that 26. I'm not biased, but that's absolutely the truth. So a lot of people, students say, hey, what is the point of CCJ? Why does it exist? We have a really straightforward mission of the school, and that is that we contribute to making a more equitable and just society. There's two things that we do to achieve that. The first is that we the academics, generate new knowledge about crime problems. That's just research, but it's better understood. We're generating new information. And with that new information, we do one of two things. Well, three things. The first thing is that we disseminate that to our peers, to other academics around the world. So we publish in journal articles and advance the field. The second thing we do is talk to industry about our new insights. And industry are interested in talking to us because this helps shape policy. So if we're generating new information about crime problems, government's responsibility to address those problems, and so it's a virtuous circle. And there's one other group that we disseminate this knowledge to. Anyone want to tell me who that might be? Yes, I see a thumb. No? You just give me a thumbs up? Yes. So we take this new knowledge and we consolidate that to existing knowledge and educate future criminal justice professionals, you guys. So if we do the research right and we educate you right, we will contribute to a better society. The exciting thing is that on all metrics, well, not all metrics, on the conventional metrics that academics and departments are judged on, like the amount of money, the impact on the field, where their graduates go, this school is ranked in the top 10 internationally in criminology. We're in the top 10 internationally. So, coming into this program, I'm trying to, I know it is surprising, yeah? I want to convey to you that this is a really fantastic opportunity to learn from people at the cutting edge of our discipline. We have academics in this, so more than half of the academics that are going to be teaching you are trained overseas. So not only do they understand the Australian criminal justice system, they also understand from other systems around the world, which is an enormously rich knowledge that we can convey to you. I said before we're top 10 in the world, so in Australia we're easily the largest, we're easily have the largest research programs of research, we're easily the most influential program in Australia. Internationally we're punching well above our weight, and everyone's really good. I think I just sort of said that. It's interesting actually, so we've historically done a really good job of educating people, and so we have, I think what's led to that, our success, and that you're going to be the beneficiaries of, is a commitment to high quality research on the one hand, strong industry engagement, so we're disseminating our research to industry, the people that will actually use it, practitioners, and then a focus on student success. And each of those three things is mutually reinforcing, and so we're able to, when we talk to industry, they are engaging us in research, and that then creates opportunities for students that you'll get the benefit of. So, in terms of that industry engagement, does anyone know who the current Queensland Police Commissioner is? Oh, come on. Yes? No? Anyone know? It's Katarina Carroll. She's an alumni of this program. Okay, so this is a double or nothing. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a pass for your first subject if you can get this right. So does anyone know who the Queensland Corrective Services Commissioner is? This is the person who's in charge of all their prisons and probation and parole for the state of Queensland. Anyone? No phones, come on. Anyone? It's Peter Martin. He's also an alumni of this program. So we've got people in high places. Many of our graduates, well, many of them go out into industry, but particularly the criminal justice system. I think about a third of probation parole is CCJ graduate. So I guess the thing I wanted to leave you with just is the idea that I imagine there's a range of emotions that everyone has coming into university. I think your primary one should be excitement. I think university is a fantastic opportunity. It is literally a life-changing, career-defining what you'll do at university. So I want you to, I'm going to charge you to get the absolute most out of your time at Griffith. I appreciate that there are probably people that are very apprehensive about coming into university, and maybe you've got things built up in your head about what university is like. I want to assure you that that's completely normal. People in the school are really receptive and will talk to you if you have any concerns. Please just approach a member of staff. For the record, I think nearly all of the academics in our school are first in family. I was the first in my family to go to university. I absolutely loved it. I didn't find that to be a barrier at all. So if that's a concern, I can assure you that the academics in the school will understand, and you just need to speak to them. So that's all I'm going to talk to you today. I'm going to introduce a colleague of mine, Benoit. He is the program director of the program that you're most likely in. Who's a double degree student here? Okay, so there's other people for that, but Benoit is the program director of the Bachelor of CCJ. I think that's all I was going to say. Let me see if there are any other slides. I'm just seeing how well I can do to this. That's telling you what I should have told you, which is what we're trying to do. Explain a bit about the university, introduce you to some of the key people in our school that are going to be useful to you if you have a problem or you want to know how to get something done. They are the people to talk to. And then just get to meet some of your classmates on day one. I'm going to hand over now to Benoit.
All right, so I'm Benoit, the program director for undergraduate degree. I do several things. I managed to focus on 3 things for today that appears to me to be important. The first thing I do, or that I'm in charge for, is study plans. So if you have any questions regarding the structure of the program, what course you should be doing, if you want to drop a course because you feel overwhelmed, if you're experiencing any issues during the degree, and you have questions about your course, if you say, okay, let's say I would like to focus on policing, for instance, we have a range of courses in this area, and we can help you choose those courses to better train you to basically graduate and get a job with the police, QPS, or any other police organizations. So study plan, that's what I do. It's really important. I know for the first year you don't have much to choose. Actually, you don't have anything to choose. You're doing 8 courses, and you don't have any option regarding these courses. But next year, you will. Okay, I think you'll have to do 3 core courses, and the other courses, you'll have to choose them. We call them electives. So when you reach next year, don't forget, if you have any questions, you can direct me. If I cannot answer, I'll redirect your question to the right person. So study plans, your program. The second dimension, which I come across often, is credit transfer. So if you have studied before with TAFE, or you started a program in another university or anything like that, sometimes we can give you equivalents, like a credit for the course you have completed, so you don't have to do it again with us. Sometimes that can help because it can actually help you speed up your degree. So if you have some sort of a background in criminology, criminal justice, even psychology, related discipline, you can always double check with us if we could give you a credit for what you have already done. Okay, credit transfer. The third important and probably most underestimated facet that we now cover very well is support. Learning support, pastoral care support. I can guarantee you that you'll have to go around a number of obstacles during your study. It may not be huge obstacles, but you'll come across a number of challenges during your degree. I don't know. During a term, let's say a family member of yours passes away, you cannot study well, you feel overwhelmed, you can ask us for assistance for that, and we can redirect you. Okay, so learning support, pastoral care. If you feel too stressed about your studies, you're really anxious for assessments or anything like this, don't hesitate, just don't hesitate. The most important thing, the critical thing first, is to reach out. Once you reach out to us, we can do something. Okay, and it's not atypical, it's common. Okay, so please don't hesitate when it comes to support. I do other things, but I'll move on. I will come a bit later in the slides. Very important people. Key contacts. Jeff. Jeff is the first year advisor here. So basically, he does similar things that I do, but at a more direct level with you. So if you see Jeff in a class or you're on campus, because I'm in Montgravat, you cannot reach out to me physically. You can go and see Jeff, and we'll redirect you if we need to redirect you. Christine Bond is the Deputy Learning and Teaching. She's basically the left arm of Michael. So she sits above me. So if there's any complex cases that I have to go through for support or for study plans or anything like this, I'll ask Christine to sort it out. And she's based in Montgravat. Christine is based in Montgravat. Marnie and Meredith, underestimated people in my view. If they were not there, the same Montgravat, we would be in trouble. So they're really important people. They're the first contact. They're the first contact for you. Again, you can ask them any questions, and if they cannot answer, they will redirect properly because they know all the people here very well. So they're able to redirect your questions and offer you proper assistance. Okay, the program structure, that comes back to me. Year one, like I said, you don't have any choice. 8 courses, it's 10 credit points for one course. It's easy to figure out. 80 credit points, 8 courses. Don't remember off the top of my head. Introduction to Criminology, Police, Courts and Law, Law, Government and Justice, Criminology Skills. What do we have? Introduction to Criminology, I already said that. Testing my knowledge. The other courses, okay, I don't remember. Okay. We have first year conveners here that I will introduce you today. So they'll be able to talk about their courses, the courses that you'll be exposed to in term 1. Second year, third year, that's what it becomes more interesting for you because you can choose. Okay, you have some options to choose. If you say, oh, I really dig corrections, I would like to work for corrections, we have a number of courses to cover for that. Policing the same, policy the same. If you're more research driven and you love to do research, we have a number of courses related to that as well. So you can choose them. Second year, however, in second year you have 3 core courses you have to complete, which is Sociology of Crime, Psychology of Crime, and Statistics. It's a basic stats. Don't start being anxious about it. It's next year. Okay, so 3 core courses, and then you have 5 other classes that you choose, electives, and you can see the list of electives on the web. And again, any questions, you can ask me or Jeff, and we'll redirect. 50 credit point free choice electives. Okay, I'll speak about 2 requirements. You don't have to remember that. I know it's a lot of information. What you have to remember, what's important to me, reach out. Instead of going back home, I'm not sure what to take, don't leave it to chance, reach out. For third year, or for your degree, your entire degree, you have 50 credit points, so 5 courses of free choice electives you can do. That's anything. Could be introduction to psychology, could be a course in political science, anything. Free choice means free, you choose anything. Another requirement of your degree is that you have to complete 6 third year courses by the end of your degree. So it would start with a 3,000 something, CCJ 3012 for instance. You would have to complete 6 of those. That's pretty much what you need to know at this stage. The most important thing again is to reach out. Okay, for the trimester 1, I knew that, understanding social problems. These are the courses we're teaching first year. Now I'm going to introduce you to Ismoli.
Hi everyone, I'm doing Understanding Social Problems, 1008 CCJ. That's one of your first year courses here. In that class, we're going to learn about some of the major social problems facing Australia and everybody else in the world. So this is me. We have a team of tutors that will be supporting you in your tutorials, and they're your first port of assistance if you have any questions or need anything. It's intended that you can really easily access those tutors during your weekly tutorial meetings. Our lecture is Wednesdays from 10 to 12 on this campus, and the tutorials information is in your timetable.
Good morning. So I'm Louise Porter. I'm going to be taking you for Criminology Skills, 1011 CCJ. So obviously everybody sitting in this room, you probably all are coming into university from different pathways. A lot of you might be straight from school, but other people might have taken a year out. You might be coming from several years out with work experience, all sorts of things. One of the things that you probably all have in common is that you're at least a little bit apprehensive or a little bit unsure about what university is like and what kinds of things are expected of you, what sort of level might be expected of you, what's expected for assessment, that kind of thing. Criminology Skills is basically your survival guide to university, okay? So coming to this course, we're going to be teaching you and helping you to develop some of those core skills that you're going to need to be successful at university and also beyond in whatever career you choose. So talking transferable skills. So things like written communication, oral communication, so how to communicate to an audience. Problem solving, literacy, sort of IT skills, that kind of thing, how to search for things. So this is what this course is about. It's about thinking about employability, thinking about where you might want to go at the end of your degree and the best pathway to get there. And there's also a lot of services that the university offers along the way, so we'll be helping to introduce you to some of those as well. There's a lot of help out there available, as well as services through the careers service, things like being able to study abroad when you get later on in your program, and so we'll introduce you to those sorts of things as well. So it's really about skill building, which is why we have both lectures and tutorials. This particular course is very tutorial heavy. So our lectures are a lot shorter and our tutorials are a lot longer. So the tutorials basically, for lectures, it'll be like this, you're all in the room. But our tutorials, you'll be split into smaller groups where you'll be taken care of by one of our very amazing team of tutors. And each one of those tutors will have a group of you to help mentor you through the program. It'll be in those tutorials that you'll start developing these skills. So the lectures and the tutorials both start next week on Monday. They might be the first thing that you do at university. See me on Monday morning. So I look forward to meeting all of you then. Okay, see you then.
Hi everyone, I'm Kieran Hardy. I take you for Police Courts and Criminal Law, which is the code is 1012 CCJ. I think one of the really interesting things about criminology, you still might be wondering, what is it exactly in terms of, because we've mentioned psychology, sociology and law, and it is all those disciplines directed towards the study of crime and responses to crime. So my background's in law and terrorism and national security laws in particular, and so we look at the criminal justice system primarily in this course, and that involves firstly what is a crime and how do governments kind of say what a crime is. And we look at some of them in legislation, so we look at homicide, murder, other things. And then police responses to those, so police powers to arrest or search houses and all those kinds of things. And how do we know if police have misused their powers and what can be some of the consequences of that. So we work through a cool exercise in the tutorials looking at a series of hypothetical robberies on the Gold Coast. And we work out whether police have used their powers appropriately, what laws people might have breached. And then you'll also, as your major assignment, go to a court and see a criminal trial in practice and then write up a report on that. So it's a really good overview of the criminal justice system and courts and police and how all those things interact as well. And I'll have you for 1003 CCJ and second semester as well, where we'll move through and look more at how laws are made and some other questions around politics as well.
Thanks.
Welcome to OE Week, welcome to the start of your studies. My name's David Bartlett. I'm your course convener for 1013 CCJ, Intro to Criminology and Criminal Justice. Really interesting course. It's designed to do two things. One is to give you a foundation knowledge of criminology in terms of what it is. And I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. But also to give you the foundation knowledge you need to pick your electives and see what really interests you going into second and third year. And you can think about where your career is going to take you and those sorts of things. It was interesting listening to Kieran say that he's going to take a case of a fictitious armed robbery here on the Gold Coast. Just out of curiosity, who thinks crime on the Gold Coast is rising? A few people. Who thinks it's falling? Who's got no idea? Right, the bulk of people. Okay, good. That's where we're going to start my course. Okay, so what we do is we start to think about what you already know about crime, where that knowledge comes from, and we start to really unpack it. So what is so for most of you it's going to be the media. Okay, so we start to unpack the media and how that portrays crime and so on. Then we start to really look at the realities of crime. And you'll start to test some of the assumptions that you've probably had for quite some time. We'll do that at the start. We'll look at who the offenders are, who the victims are, those sorts of things. Then we're going to start to give you a bit of a primer, a bit of a taste of criminological theory, psychological and sociological theory, about thinking about how do we actually explain crime. Okay, how do we use theories to understand crime, explain it, prevent it, and those sorts of things. And then in the final sort of part of the course, we'll drill down into the main arms of the criminal justice system. So police, courts, and corrective services, and we'll teach you a whole lot of different things about those. I've got a fantastic tutorial or tutor team this year. Most of them come with industry experience. We've got people experiencing probation and parole, courts, coroner's court, a whole range of places. So they're the people who will be actually taking you for the tutorials. And some of them are actually PhD students as well, and they'll share some of their research findings with you. So hopefully you're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good trimester, and I enjoy teaching you about criminology, about some of those stats that you see in the media and those sorts of things, how to unpack them, what they really mean. Okay.
Thanks, David. So I'm the program director for the undergrad degree. That's only criminology and criminal justice. But we also have a number of program directors for the double degrees. And then I'll ask Molly to come back because she's the program director for IT and criminology.
Hello again. Do we have any double degree IT students here today? Yay, there's not that many of you. There should be more. This is an area of criminology where it is a super rapidly expanding job market. There's tons of ways that technology and computer science and all of that stuff comes into contact with criminology. Everything from technologies like body-worn cameras that the police might use, to monitoring bracelets, to cybercrime, online abuse, and my personal area of study, technology and domestic violence. So this is a really exciting area of study that brings together the IT basics with the criminology basics. So similar to the other programs, my role as the program director is to, again, answer questions that you might have about which courses you're supposed to be taking. And similar to the undergrad program, there's a little rigidity at the beginning of the program, but the double degrees can be a little confusing. So if you're confused about what you're supposed to be enrolled in, come and talk to me. Similar to what Benoit said earlier, if you're struggling or having issues that are interfering with your coursework, you can also talk to me about that. Sometimes with the double degrees can be a lot in the first year for criminology students, especially if you're new in that IT space. So come talk to me for all that stuff.
Thank you, Molly. And we'll also have a program director for double degree. The most popular one we have is psychology and criminology. And it's, hold on.
I skipped my course question.
You still get close.
I got too excited. In year one, these are the classes that you're going to take. So there's 100 credit points in CCJ and ICT, and those are the first year core courses. And then year 2, 3, and 4, you take 70 more credit points in criminology and criminal justice in the core. You take 30 CCJ electives, and then there's 100 additional IT courses that you have to take, including 60 in the networks and security major. So that's all your cybercrime stuff and cybersecurity, for a total of 320 credit points. So that probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you yet, but if you have any questions about that stuff, come see me.
That's a trimester 1 for IT and criminology, the course you would have to do. So Criminology Skills, you saw Louise, David for Introduction to Criminology, and 2 other courses within the IT department. These are the times, okay. Okay, now we're getting to the psychology, criminology double degree with Nadine.
All right. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? I feel like very serious. Breathe. Like you all feel like you look like you need to take a deep breath. Welcome. I know there's a lot happening today. I'm Dr. Connell. I'm the program director for CCJ in psychology. Just so you know, if you have one of the other dual degrees, forensic science, law, health and human services, or business, I am your program advisor. So basically, unless you are in the IT degree, if you're in a dual degree, you'll probably have to deal with me at some point in time. So while I'm going to talk about psychology today, please know if you're in one of those other degrees, you can come talk to me as well, and we'll get you sorted. And you've probably already figured out I'm one of those international scholars that Dr. Townsley talked about a little bit earlier. I'm also new to Griffith. This is only my second trimester, so we're all in this together. We will figure it out. If I don't know the answer, thankfully, everybody around me probably does. So really want to reiterate what my colleagues have said about coming to us for support. We'll figure out what the answer is if you're not sure. Because this degree can be, like a lot of the dual degrees, sometimes a little bit overwhelming as you get started because there's a lot of planning that you have to do. So in your first year, you will have 2 of the same core courses that you've already seen, as well as 2 psychology courses. But again, the dual degrees are 4 or 5 years. So you'll see that it's really important in the psychology degree to stay on top of your planning because you only have 2 free choice electives, which means that all of your other classes need to be following our program guide so that we can keep you on track for graduation. Because as you go forward, you'll see you've got a lot of psychology core classes. That's because psychology has accreditation from Australia, so we have to keep you on track with those kinds of things, as well as our electives in CCJ and our core. So you have a little bit less leeway with this degree than some of the others, which is why we really encourage you to make sure that you come talk to us if there's ever any questions. And when you hear about study abroad in a little bit, that's the thing I want you to keep in mind. If you're interested in study abroad, you want to think about that early so we can get your credits in the right place to make sure that you don't lose any time to your degree. So it's really important stuff to think about. But that said, reach out, we'll be able to give you the answers. And you'll see your schedule here, just like you did with the other one. Your 2 psych classes for this trimester will be Intro to Psychology and Interpersonal Skills, which will make going home for the holidays a lot easier for you. Your schedule, again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. That's what we're here for. And many of you, regardless of your degree, I will see in Try 2 and Homicide, and we will talk about dead people. So, with that, and welcome.
Professional practice. So I'm going to talk about 2 other important features of criminology here at Griffith. The first one is professional practice, and this is kind of one of the ages that we have here in the school. What that means that during your 3rd year, you can choose a course called professional practice. I think it's 3008, the actual code. What it does is that you have the chance to do a placement with the industry. Could be with the police, could be with corrections, could be with a number. There's a wide range of industry partners that we have. The course is not so much lecture driven, it's more of a placement. I think you have to complete at least many hours of placement in which you actually participate with an industry partner. You have to keep a journal to keep in check with what they're doing. And it's pretty much it. I think you have 4 workshops to come to Griffith to attend to, which is more around peer support. So it's really important course. If you can do that, do it, because it will expose you to a potential employer down the road. So if you say, oh, I would like to know what it would be like, to get some sense of what it would be like to work for corrections, you can try to do a placement with corrections. Okay, so this is a very important course. I know that before doing this course, we have to, or you have, the student have to contact the convener, because it's limited. So you have to contact the convener before being able to enroll in this course. But seriously, if you can do that, just do it. Nadine talked about this, study abroad opportunities. Again, really important. Half the school is from overseas. I'm from Canada. Probably noticed what's that accent. It's Canada, Montreal. So half of the school is from overseas. Okay, that means that we're very well connected with a range of different countries over the world in criminology and criminal justice. There's a number of students, a high number of students, more and more students during their second or third year, they choose to do a term overseas. Let's go to Vancouver, Simon Fraser. What courses could I be doing in Vancouver? And then when you come back, you can actually get credit for those courses. It's not time wasted. But in terms of experience, in terms of richness of experience, that's another thing I would highly recommend. If you can do it, I know it depends on your circumstances, not necessarily easy to say, okay, I'm going to the US for 6 months, I know. But if you can do it down the road, that's a really important opportunity for you that you can leverage down the road for employment. Okay, it gives you a great experience. Get social with CCJ. Oh, I'm not the most Facebook person, but I know it's very popular. So we do have a Facebook website for criminology. I know it's very popular. I'm sure you know more about it than me. All right. The library. Again, sometimes underestimated, especially when you start. You want to reach out and know how to do research effectively. You don't want to spend 3 hours at the library to look for a book and things like this. So it can be quite useful. And we have Scott here from the library that can speak of.
Hi, so I'm Scott. I'm from the library, so I'll just be kind of going through how the library can help you, how we're there to help. When I was told they wanted me to do an orientation session, it kind of got me thinking about when I first started university and I went to an orientation session and they had a library orientation session. And the one thing I remember from that is they said, when you're walking upstairs, always keep left. And that's the only thing I could remember, and I think that is good advice. Always keep left. When you're walking upstairs or walking anywhere, always keep left. So if there's one thing you remember, remember that. But the library is here to help in a number of other ways as well. So we provide a lot of resources and services which can support you with your studies. And also we've got a lot of books and online resources, journal articles and things like that, which are essential when you're doing your assessments and things. So some of the key things we have, there's a thing called the Study Smart website. So that has a lot of resources on it, kind of giving you advice with things like how to do note taking, how to kind of do things like structure your assessments. So just general kind of help with how to kind of approach kind of your academic writing and academic kind of skills and things like that. There's also things on there to help you with like your referencing and also how to locate resources for your assessments, how to kind of navigate the library website and all of our library databases and things. So we've got a lot of, we pay for a lot of different kind of resources that you need to use. So it's, you know, it should be pretty straightforward in terms of kind of how you search. It's different than how you search Google, but it's, it should be fairly intuitive. But we've got a lot of services to help. If you're having any difficulties, we can help you with how you can find resources. Yeah, so we've got a lot of online resources. We also have a very good referencing guide. It's all new and improved this year, so that will show you how you do your referencing. It has, I think you're doing APA 7, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So it has like a guide for every referencing style, but yeah, it has APA 7 in there, and it just gives you examples of how you kind of format your referencing and structure it in both the in-text and the referencing list side of things. So that's a good resource to kind of go to. So this is all just on the library website. And as well as all our online things. We've got 6 libraries across all the campuses. So you probably, if you're based there, you'll probably just be at the Gold Coast. But so the Gold Coast Library's up the other end of the campus, just across from where all the market stuff is this week. So it's a good place to study. We've got a lot of different sorts of studies places. So there's places where you can, if you want individual silent study, or there's group study rooms as well, which you can book. So you just book, just on the library website, you can book group study rooms because they are quite popular. So if you're needing to do some group work, it's a good idea to book them in advance. So there's a few kind of events and things that are held in the library throughout the year as well. So it's kind of, we like to think of ourselves as kind of the hub of the university. It's kind of the main kind of study area where you would go. So a lot of people use it for study. And also we've got a lot of books and things in there as well. As well as that, we've got a lot of support points. So we've got there's a library help desk in the library, so you can go in there if you've got any questions about, you know, how do I locate some articles, or how do I reference something. So you just rock up in there and they'll be able to provide you with some advice. And there's also some online support ways as well. There's online chat. You can also phone in. There's a number that you can call. So yeah, we're always here to help. And there's library tours this week as well, which I think are between 11 and 1 or something like that. So just go into the library and you'll be able to join a tour. I think they're done on the hour. So yeah, but it's not that big. You can go in there and kind of explore it yourself. But so we've just got a lot of different services and support services we can offer you. We can offer, like, if the people on the front desk can't provide you with the answer you need, you can be referred on to learning advisors and digital capability advisors and librarians as well, who can offer consultations with kind of more specialised support if you're needing help with your academic writing or referencing or researching or things like that. So so they're all the sort of things the library provides. So we're here to help, and so that's basically the library covered.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, the Criminology Student Society, is Joel here, the president. Will talk to you about this beautiful society.
Hey, so I'm the current president of the Criminology Student Society. We are a student-run club here at Griffith across both Mount and Nathan campus, and our main primary goal is to help you guys with either that's academic events to network or social to help in the beginning to get to know people, or just for some fun throughout your year. We do have a $10 membership fee to join the club for some of our academic events, and to gain access to our academic events or discounts to social events like our end of year ball. We actually have a really good event coming up on the 11th of March, this our Night of Crime, where we are getting a detective from here on the Gold Coast to talk to you about a murder that's happened recently, I think last couple of years on campus or not on the Gold Coast, not on campus. No murders on campus, thank God. But here on the Gold Coast, and talk about how they've partnered with Crime Stoppers to help, and how Crime Stoppers have helped throughout their investigation. So it is a great way to network, and we do get, for academic events, people from industry in to talk to you, and it's typically like 10 to 12 or 20 people show up, so it's a great one-on-one chance to network. So yes, join. It's a really good, it is a really good tool and way that we can partner with the school to help support youth.
So I am one of the international academics that you've heard so much about. Most of our school, or I should say about half of our academics in the school are from other countries. In case you haven't figured out from my accent, I'm from the United States, grew up there, escaped and got over here to Australia as soon as I could. Now an Australian citizen, but I originally am from a little place called Pennsylvania in the United States. Now, I often have to tell the students where Pennsylvania is. It's here on the map underneath New York. Everybody seems to know where New York is. Don't mix Pennsylvania up with other places in the world and tell me it reminds you of vampire movies, like some people say. It's not Transylvania, it's Pennsylvania. Again, that address here that we're going to look at is right down here. Everybody get that okay? Great. Okay, let me move on a little bit. What we're going to do is start off by asking you some questions that you'll see on that whole site. So give me an answer to your questions. You can see what's happening up on the screen. As you vote, your votes are coming up on the screen. In some classes, we use these polls. One of the advantages is you can answer anonymously, and you can see what other people are thinking or what other people understand without really revealing your own individually. So we can see here that it looks like a lot of people are feeling maybe a little nervous about starting a university. That's understandable. You're not alone. I think the people that looks like the most popular answer is you understand that you're nervous, but you'll eventually find your stride, and that's probably true. I'm going to go on to the next question here. Here it is. How easy is it, do you think, or from your experiences so far, to find information at the university? Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that after we finish these first couple questions. Some people are saying it's easy, I guess a lot, but that's only about half. About half of you are finding it a little bit more harder. I hope to help out with that in a little while. And I guess a lot of people just want to go swimming. I don't blame you. You may see me down at the pool if I start swimming again someday. Okay, a couple people are unsure. Let me go on to the next question. Here's the third one. Which of these are you uncertain about? And I'm guessing you're uncertain about a lot of things right now, which is, again, understandable. A lot of people don't know what type of job that they want, about half of you, understandable completely. Which electives to pick? I think you've heard from Benoit and other people during your first year. You don't have much of a choice, or you don't really have a choice at all. It's in the second and third year that you'll have some choice of the different subjects or the different classes that you'll take. A lot of people, don't know where to park. I think the simple answer is there is none. No, there is a little bit of parking, but I think you really are encouraged to take trams and other things because parking is often a problem. How to contact tutors and lecturers, I'm going to talk to you about that in a little while. And of course, people have some other questions. Now, we're going to pause for a little bit, but don't close your browsers. Keep that open because we're going to come back to that here in a little while. Okay, so I'm going to move on here a little bit, and I'm going to give you my prediction for 2020. I know most of you are coming directly from from secondary school, not primary school. We usually use the word high school in the United States. So sometimes you may hear me slip up on the Australian language. Okay, so here's my prediction for 2020 as compared with last year. Let's move on a little bit. Where to get some information or how to get help. This is an important thing. Everybody here, at least I think everybody here is brand new to a university system. It's a little bit confusing. I understand that. We all understand that. I'm going to try to help a little bit. And I'm going to help a little bit with some terminology too that's different from high school, some of which you have already heard, but I'm going to re-emphasize some of it because it's very important. First thing to know is that it's hard for me to tell you where to get information until I give you some background information that you may not know about. So the type of information that you're interested in, where to get it, depends on what type of information you're looking for. So the first thing to understand, as Michael said earlier, is that the Griffith University is kind of the largest organization here that you'll deal with. And the School of CCJ sits inside of the university, and then the program sits inside of CCJ. So it kind of looks like something like this. And we have already mentioned today already that there's several different programs within CCJ, and different people here are different programs. Everybody here, though, is in our core program, the Bachelor of CCJ. Okay, so here's some of the other ones, the Bachelor of Psychological Science, you've heard from Nadine, and the Bachelor of Information Technology, and you've heard already from Molly, who heads those other programs up. Now, what's very important that many of you may not know already is you've heard this term course. And the word course is often unique to a university. And when you were in high school, you may have called these different things subjects. So think about a course in a similar way as you thought about a subject in high school. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's pretty close. So you've heard already today that there's different courses or different subjects that you'll be taking. So for example, 1013 CCJ is a course about the basics of criminal justice. The first number means the year that you're intended to take it. It doesn't always work that way, but in general, if you see a 1 that starts the number off, it means it's a first-year course. If you see a 2 that starts the number off, it generally means it's a second-year course, or perhaps you could take it in the second or third year, or maybe in fourth year. Okay? If you see a 3, again, that's designed primarily for people who are in their third year, but sometimes you can take those in the second year. So again, we call those things courses. You may be used to using the term subject from high school. Now, if you need information about the courses, and this is probably the most important thing, and something that I don't think that anybody yet has talked to you about, but later when we break into the different groups, I think your mentors will tell you a little bit more about this in a little bit more detail. If you're interested in information about your courses, then the primary place that you want to go is something that is called Learning at Griffith. Now, some of those questions may be, I don't understand something that's discussed in lecture, or maybe you want to know when assessments are due for this course. What you need to do is get onto what's called the Learning at Griffith page. Have you been mentioned, has somebody mentioned to you the Learning at Griffith page yet? They've mentioned that a little bit. I see 1 or 2 heads shaking, but it looks like other people may be uncertain. You'll hear a little bit more about that today. You'll get a little bit more demonstration. But again, let me emphasize that if you're interested in information about the course, this is the primary contact. Get online, go to the Learning at Griffith site, select the course website, and you're going to get information there. Some of the information that you'll see, most courses, not all of them, but most have what's called an online discussion board. Some of the courses are designed so that those discussion boards are a little bit more active than other ones. But if the lecturer there is emphasizing in the discussion board, by all means use that resource. There's also information on the course websites about how to contact the tutors or how to contact the lecturer. And some courses are set up so that your first point of contact is the tutor. Other courses may be set up to the first point of contact is the lecturer, but do whatever the lecturer and the tutors are telling you in these different courses. Again, the information about that should be on this course website. Okay, so let's turn away from the course a little bit and go back to the Griffith University. Again, this overarching organization that we're all in. For information about the university itself, and you've already heard Michael talk a little bit about what the university does. It enrolls people and graduates people, and then it deals with all the bureaucracy that has to do with that. They have a new, or I should say at least a revised website, that I think that they've really got it right this year. In the past, I've kind of de-emphasized to the students this, but I think this year they've done a really good job. They're rolling things out more and more and more. They're now calling this the Student Connect site and the Student Connect email address, as I understand it. But you go to it by going to the home page for Griffith, and then going to Contact Us, and then going to the online inquiry. So you can see Contact Us here, you can see online inquiries there, and they have a fax page under this Current Students tab. So I think it defaults to future students. Hit the Current Students tab, and you can see some frequently asked questions there, and there's some really good information there. I learned things just by looking at this. You can search in the search box for answers to your questions about the university. You're not going to find information about your courses there. You're not going to find very much information, if any, about the program or about the school of CCJ there. But information about the university, this is where to go to. If you want to ask questions to somebody in the university, there's a place to ask questions. And if you go into that, it'll bring up this online form where you can send an email to a central address that they'll get your question to the right person. You can select a topic that will help out a little bit. And this year, I think, is the first year that they've had an actual online chat where you can get questions answered from folks at the university. Again, this is for information about the university that's outside of the school of CCJ. Information about the program, you've heard already that we have different program directors for the different programs, and there's also information that you may need about things like advising, things about timetable clashes. Sometimes if you're trying to get an elective, that it may only be offered at the same time as some other elective. Again, this would be in your second or third year. This is information that is either about the school level or about the program level. And the best place to get information about that type of thing is the Ask CCJ address that we have already discussed a little bit. And as the other people have come up today, you see at the bottom how to contact them. It says how to contact them through the Ask CCJ email address. So that is the most important address that you should have, the Ask CCJ address. If you're unsure of whether or not it's course information or university information, I would encourage you to start there. Send an email to the Ask CCJ address. We've got a really great staff of professional staff, we call them, at both the Gold Coast campus here and at the Mount Gravatt campus that answer these emails. They're excellent at doing this. If I don't know the answer to a question, I usually go to the folks that answer these emails, and they're very good. They answer questions quickly. This is a couple of the people that answer those emails. All of them will be able to get there simultaneously. If one person's on leave, another person will answer for you. They'll make sure that your inquiry will get to the right person. So again, start with this Ask CCJ address, and they'll direct you to the right place. If you need to speak with me, for example, it's probably best to contact the Ask CCJ people, because often people think that I have the answers to certain things that I really don't know anything about, and they'll make sure that it gets to the right person. Okay, everybody should have already gotten in the packet of information, you got this booklet or something that looks just like that. Pull this out right now. Everybody pull this out. Everybody should get one. If you don't have one, raise your hand and somebody will get you one, but everybody should have it. I see a couple people in the back don't have it. I don't know if Celia can get it. Celia still here? Anyhow, pull this out if you have it. If not, we'll try to get you one. Pull this out. On the very first page, it will have these key contacts that you see here on the very first page. Again, it looks like some staff coming around to get people who don't have it. Pull this out, And I'm going to have you write down right now some very key information. Again, write this address down right now, the Ask CCJ email address. That's very, very important. Again, if you're unsure who to go to, this would be the place to start. Even if you think you're sure who to go to, this is generally the place to start. Unless you're sure that it has to do with university information, then you can go to the Student Connect location that I showed you earlier. But if you do have to contact one of the program directors, if you want to contact me, the first year advisor, start here. And then when you do email somebody, here's a good tip. Put your student number down. Everybody should have a student number down. And put what campus you're at on the email. I often get emails from people up at the Mount Gravatt campus, for example, that don't realize I'm the first year advisor for the Gold Coast. Similarly, you don't want to be sending an email to the wrong person up at the Mount Gravatt campus, because what ends up happening is your email just gets bounced around and around and around to different people until you get it to the right person. So again, using the Ask CCJ email address will prevent a lot of those problems. Put your student number and the campus right on that email, and that helps us all out. And make sure that you get to the right person quicker. As we mentioned, Benoit Leclerc is the program director for most of you who are in the Bachelor of Criminology program. Again, contact him through that Ask CCJ email address. Molly is the program director for the dual degree with ICT. You can put her name down for the program director if that applies to you. That's just a couple people here. Again, contact her through the Ask CCJ email address. And Nadine, again, is the program director for the dual degree program in criminology, criminal justice, and psychology. And again, contact her through that Ask CCJ email address. Other things that are very important is my information. Contact me again through the Ask CCJ email address. If you have questions, they'll double check to make sure that the best person to get to is me, in the case when that's the case, or if it's somebody else, they'll get you to the right person. If you want to, and you're fairly certain it's a question that is applicable to me, my office is here, GO6, which is the main building. It's down the hall from the main office. I'll put that address up here in a minute. The main building is right next door to the one we're in right now, and I am in room 3.35. If I'm in my office and I'm available, the door is usually cracked part way. You can stop in and ask if I'm available. I can answer quick questions, but again, often some of the questions first-year students really have are things that really need to go to other people. So I would still encourage you, as a first step, to go to that Ask CCJ email address, and then if they tell you that this is something that I can help with, you're more than welcome to walk down the hall and see if I'm available then. And if not, the Ask CCJ email address is the place to set up an appointment. Other important contacts, write this down, very important. The Gold Coast main office is in GO6, same as mine, right down the hall, 3.14. Write that down. That's where Marnie is. That's where, she's back over here, she's got her hand up. That's where Meredith is. Marnie's the one right out in front. She's the one that has the main reception desk. She can get you to the right place. She can point you to my office. She can point you to Meredith's office. These folks really know what they're doing, and they can answer questions. So if you're on campus, you can stop right into the main office and talk to Marnie or talk to Meredith. They can often answer your questions very quickly right on the spot. If they're not there or you're off campus, you can send to the Ask CCJ email address. Those two things are largely synonymous. Other things that are very important. Here's the one that we always neglect to tell all the new students. IT support. I call these folks, I've been here for, I think this is my 7th year now, I'm still calling them probably an average of once a month about something. Something goes wrong with the computer system. You've tried everything you can to get onto the course website. You can't do that. Call them. The number here on campus, it's really simple. If you're on campus, you just call 55555. For everybody in the United States, I have to explain that. 55555. The first time I came over here, somebody said 55555. I'm like, what? I think in Australia they talk faster and shorter. Anyhow, very important number here. Try to figure out the computer issues yourself. If not, if it's something that has to do with the Griffith University website, a course website that doesn't seem to be working, get a hold of the IT service people. Again, write that down right in your bucket. Okay, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to that website that I had you at a little while ago, the polling website. Okay, I'm going to start a little video here, and we're going to put up the results of some of these poll questions. As I do that, I'm going to stop the poll here for a second if you're on there, and I'm going to start this video, and in a bit I'll have some answers to your poll questions as the video's running. Here we go.
Going to uni is exciting and challenging. It's both hard work and serious fun. One of the most important factors is starting uni with success in mind. And we've developed some powerful information to help you do that. Hi, I'm Professor Alflazio, and these are the 5 senses of success. Students with clear reasons for going to uni do better academically and find learning more satisfying. Those who've chosen a degree, after thinking about their interests, strengths and goals, have developed an invaluable resource, a sense of purpose. This helps them commit to their studies and strengthens their persistence when the work gets challenging. If you hear yourself saying things like,
I'm going to uni because it's expected. I don't have any other plans, so I might as well go to uni.
I chose this degree because my friends are doing it.
I chose this degree because my parents wanted me to.
I'm not really sure about uni, but my marks are high enough, so I may as well try it.
Think about strengthening your sense of purpose. Students tell us the best ways of doing this are seeking out first-hand information about what people in certain jobs actually do by doing some work experience prior to university, finding opportunities for safe, non-judgmental, and often messy conversations about your goals, interests, and choices, giving yourself permission to not be sure. Talk about it and make your own decisions about what is right for you. It's about making informed choices. We know that students who make an early effort to understand how university works and what they need to do to be successful feel more resilient and less stressed. Those who leave their assumptions about uni life behind and familiarise themselves with the requirements of being a uni student have developed a valuable skill. A sense of resourcefulness helps when balancing your uni, work and social life. So, if you catch yourself thinking things like,
it'll be right, I'll just go with the flow.
I'm not sure how I manage my time.
I'm not very good at asking for help or managing my time.
you might want to build up your resourcefulness. Students tell us they build up their sense of resourcefulness by planning how they'll approach a new learning environment and how they'll manage their time, considering all of their commitments instead of just fitting uni in, and allocating sufficient space and time for study. It's about developing realistic expectations and being proactive. Students who actively work towards becoming a successful learner tend to have greater early academic success. They take the time to understand what is involved in and what's different about learning as a uni student. Successful students develop the capacity to be more independent in their approach to studying and develop effective ways to learn new material. This is the case even if they weren't naturally learning ready and uni confident. You can think of this as a sense of capability. So, if you're thinking things like,
I'm not sure if I can do this or if I'm up to it.
Uni can't be too different to school. I'll approach it the same way.
Either you can or you can't. No point in trying anything different.
You'll know that you can strengthen your sense of capability. Other students have done this by appreciating and building on the strengths and capabilities they already have, making a commitment to learning new skills and study behaviours, seeking out the learning support services and resources available to new students. It's about developing the skills and confidence to do the job. Sticking with uni is much easier with a quality network of supportive peers and staff. Students who develop working and social relationships with other students are able to collaborate and support each other, which makes uni more enjoyable and gives them a greater sense of belonging. A sense of connection is a practical and protective resource for success. If you hear yourself saying things like,
I haven't got time to make new friends.
All my friends are outside of uni. I'm not good at meeting new people.
it might indicate a need to increase your sense of connection. Our students tell us they do this by getting to know a wide range of different people, looking for ways to collaborate or work with other students, joining clubs and societies that interest them. It's about making the effort to join in and belong to the community. Making a successful start at uni involves developing a positive belief in yourself as a university student. That's the big idea behind the 5 senses framework. A sense of identity means being able to confidently answer when people ask questions like, are you going to uni? Can you answer with a sense of anticipation and pride? Does the idea of being a uni student feel right for you? Remember, if you're offered a place at university, we firmly believe that you belong and that this is the right place for you and that you can be successful here. Taking that vote of confidence on board will strengthen your sense of identity. If you find yourself thinking things like,
I'm not sure if the uni is a place for someone like me.
I wonder if my friends and family really want me to go to uni. I don't want to put too much effort into this whole uni thing.
it's an opportunity to work on your sense of identity. And just like our past students, you can do this by accepting encouragement from the people who are important to you, reminding yourself that what you do in the future is more important than anything you have or haven't done in the past. It's about taking yourself seriously. Going to uni can be one of the most rewarding and stimulating things you do in your life. You can get off to a great start by implementing these 5 simple but important elements of success. Have a think about them, discuss them with the people that are important to you, and make a plan to succeed at uni.
Okay, last question. I hope everybody has the idea of what I was hoping everybody puts down here. Looks like most of you have got this right. We can help you out with a lot of things, but remember that ultimately success and getting the information necessary is going to be up to you. So I'm pretty much done with my presentation. Let's see here. I guess we're going to turn things over, back over to Benoit, and I will get... you need a PowerPoint up? No. Okay.